Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music. Now let's get into some music news. The coronavirus is all over the news, including music news. In segment 2, I will list the concerts and festivals that have been canceled thus far. But one festival that refuses to cancel is South by Southwest. The huge Austin, Texas festival is still scheduled to proceed March 13th through the 22nd, despite the fact that major brands and artists are dropping out. Paramount said that while it was keeping its March 14th world premiere of The Lovebirds, in its lineup stars Kumail Nanjiani and Issa Rae, and director Michael Showalter would not be attending as planned. Paramount will be doing press for the movie in Los Angeles in lieu of Austin. Lionsgate and their Starz network said they were no longer attending, as the parent company is insisting employees not conduct non-essential business travel at this time. There was a featured panel for Power with creator Courtney Kemp, executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, and Starz president and CEO Jeffrey A. Hirsch that is no longer happening. There was also a world premiere and activation for Starz' upcoming series, Hightown. Not only are talent backing out of the fest, but there won't be a screening of Hightown nor a planned activation. Lionsgate's home entertainment actually will hold their world premieres, just not with their talents. Those movies include the Liam Hemsworth, Vivica Fox, Vince Vaughn crime thriller Arkansas, and Michael Shannon, Shea Whigham crime mystery thriller The Quarry. Rocker Ozzy Osbourne, Universal Music Group, and Warner Media confirmed they are pulling out of their respective slots at the Austin-based festival. Osbourne was scheduled to attend in support of the world premiere screening of A&E Network's biography, The 9 Lives of Ozzy Osbourne. Its 2-hour documentary set to air this summer. The doc is still set to bow March 17th in the 24 beats per second sidebar. On Wednesday, Netflix and Apple both said they were exiting the Austin-based festival a day after Amazon said it was doing the same. All three companies had content bound for different sections that now will not be in the mix. They joined Facebook and Twitter, who had earlier pulled out of the festival. Netflix had planned to screen 5 films, the feature Uncorked and docuseries A Secret Love LA. Basically, they got a whole list of stuff they was going to premiere. A March 15th panel featuring Kenya Barris and Rashida Jones discussing their series, #Black Excellence, was also canceled. Apple's lineup had included premieres of originals like Spike Jonze' documentary Beastie Boys' Story is also canceled. According to the World Health Organization, more than 3,280 people worldwide have died from the coronavirus. As of Thursday, 11 people have died in the U.S.
All right, so I have an amendment on South by Southwest. As of Friday afternoon, the city of Austin canceled the annual South by Southwest festival due to the coronavirus outbreak. Mayor Steve Adler announced Friday afternoon, prompting festival organizers to release a statement saying they were devastated and still working through the ramifications of Adler's decision.
Lady Gaga has a man. Gaga shared a cute selfie where her current boyfriend, tech investor Michael Polanski, is seen leaning in over her shoulder while riding in a jet. Gaga captioned the post, "I've got a stupid love." This isn't the first time Gaga has posted about Polanski online. After speculation that the two were dating surfaced following her pre-Super Bowl performance in Miami, Gaga posted a photo of the two cuddling together on a boat, letting fans know that the rumors were true. Gaga wasn't the only one excited to share her new photo. Fellow pop star Ariana Grande left a comment on the star's post telling the couple, "Adore you both so much." In classic Celine Dion fashion, the singer strutted down the New York sidewalks on Thursday in Michael Kors plaid dress with a built-in cape and a matching structured beret. She got her straight pose on for the paparazzi as she served up her latest fashion-forward look. A man who attended a Tool concert at Spark Arena in Auckland, New Zealand last Friday has tested positive for coronavirus and is now in self-isolation. The New Zealand Herald reports that the unidentified man, the fourth person in New Zealand diagnosed with the COVID-19 strain of the virus, has been isolated since Wednesday and does not require hospital care. Just hours before her premiere on season 12 of RuPaul's Drag Race, drag star Sherry Pie is already in hot water after 5 actors accused her of catfishing them. In a report from BuzzFeed News, 5 New York actors accused their former Sunny Cortland classmate Joey Guglielmelli, Pie's birth name, of posing as a casting director over email and asking each of them to send him embarrassing audition tapes of themselves doing a variety of degrading activities. One actor even said he'd agreed to masturbate on camera for the online persona. Now, that actor was just stupid for that. I mean, that's like acting audition role number 1. Come on now. Like, what role was you trying to get? What was the part? Common sense, people, common sense. Okay. So Sherry Pie went on her Facebook page and posted a public apology for the behavior. The post says, "This is Joey. I want to start by saying how sorry I am that I caused such trauma and pain and how horribly embarrassed and disgusted I am with myself. I know that the pain and hurt I have caused will never go away, and I know that what I did was wrong and truly cruel." All right, so Demi Lovato was on Ellen, and when asked what made her throw it all away after 6 years of sobriety, the pop star revealed that her breaking point stemmed from an eating disorder that became all-consuming. She says, "It led me to being really, really unhappy. My bulimia got really bad, and I asked for help, and I didn't receive the help that I needed." Lovato went on to explain that when she reached out to her then management team questioning her sobriety, the reaction she received was anything but compassionate. They responded with like, "You're being very selfish, and this would ruin things not just for you, but for us as well." Okay, now who's selfish by saying that? People, come on. I just feel like we gotta use common sense. We gotta use common sense. Why are you listening to other people? Listening to other people tell you to send, embarrassing auditions and to masturbate, and you're all about your sobriety, and they're being like, you're selfish. Come on now. I understand being young and naive, but to a certain extent. Demi's too old for that, but she got it together. So, she says, "And when I heard that, my core issues are abandonment from my birth father as a child. So when they left, they totally played on that fear, and I felt completely abandoned. So I drank, and that night I went to a party, and there was other stuff there, and it was only 3 months before I ended up in the hospital with an OD. I think it's important that I sit here on this stage and tell you at home, or you in the audience, or you right here, that if you do go through this, you yourself can get through it. You can get to the other side, and it may be bumpy, but you are a 10 out of 10. Don't forget it. And as long as you take the responsibility, you can move past it and learn to love yourself the way that you deserve to be loved." Now, musician and composer Brett Dean has been hospitalized in Australia with the new coronavirus. British agent Inter Musica confirmed on Thursday that the violist and conductor was in isolation in an Adelaide hospital with the COVID-19 illness. He was to perform with the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra in a Beethoven concert at the annual Adelaide Festival on Saturday. Post Malone has fans concerned after nearly falling apart on stage. The chart-topping singer was performing his single I Fall Apart during his runway tour at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville on Wednesday when he appeared to break down on stage. In the video clip, which went viral on social media, Post fell to the ground before tumbling over himself. His voice wavered as he struggled to get back up. Fans took to Twitter to express their concern after seeing the alarming video. These clips of Post Malone are disturbing and it's breaking my heart, dude, wow. Tweeted one fan, while another added, I hope he gets the help he needs if he's hurting. I'd hate to see anything happen to him. So I watched the clip. It looks like it's part of the routine for him to fall and deliver the lyrics from the floor since the song is called Fall Apart. But he def looked like he was struggling and falling apart while singing the song. Now, obviously, dude wrote the song for a reason, or if he didn't write it, he chose it because he connects with the lyrics. But fans should be concerned. With all these artists dying and self-medicating, the concerns are valid. But to me, his everyday look doesn't look healthy at all. Now, Pop Smoke was laid to rest in Brooklyn on Thursday. Family and friends turned out in droves to celebrate the 20-year-old rapper's life during a massive funeral procession in, I do not know how to pronounce the name, but it's Canarsie. It happened in Brooklyn. I'm assuming it's a neighborhood in Brooklyn. But a white horse-drawn carriage made its way through the streets as fans lined up on the sidewalks to pay their respects to their fallen star. The black casket with glass windows and white curtains traveled past a mural honoring Pop Smoke, while 50 Cent's Versace-wrapped Lamborghini was a part of the procession. At one point, Pop Smoke's music blared from the speaker alongside a hearse as fans popped champagne and danced to his songs, including Invincible. His mother waved to fans who chanted "woo" as the carriage drove past them. Last weekend, Pop Smoke's family honored him during a private ceremony. After today's procession, he will be laid to rest in a Brooklyn cemetery. The family of Bashar Pop Smoke Jackson would like to express our sincere gratitude to everyone for your support, the Jackson family said in a statement last month. Every prayer, call, and act of kindness is deeply appreciated, and we mourn the loss of our son, brother, and friend. So we will take a break and return with tour and festival news.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. I'm your host, Gaelika Brown. On to tours and festival news. Since the outbreak of the coronavirus, more than 20,000 music events between January and March have been canceled or postponed in China and Hong Kong, costing 2 billion yen in ticketing and box office losses, according to the China Association of Performing Arts. With the disease reaching more than 40 countries, Billboard has compiled an ongoing list of major concerts and events that have been postponed or canceled due to the outbreak. Now, they do have a list that includes January and February, but since we're in March, I'm gonna just do March. So March 1st, Set It Off called off dates in Asia on Sunday due to unforeseen circumstances. And for everyone's safety, the band also canceled their opening slots for Jimmy Eat World on March 12th and 13th in Manila and Singapore. March 2nd, Wolf Parade canceled European and UK dates for the tour supporting their latest album, Thin Mind. The first show was scheduled for March 2nd in the Netherlands. March 2nd, Lucina Coil canceled their tour of Asia and Australia. Our home region of Lombardia, Italy, is in the midst of a coronavirus outbreak. Everyone's health and safety must come first, and this includes our fans. March 3rd, Maluma postpones his upcoming concert in Milan amid an outbreak in Italy. March 3rd, Ultra Abu Dhabi, the Middle Eastern edition of the Miami-based festival, is canceled. It was set to happen March 5th through 6th. March 3rd, Mariah Carey has postponed her Honolulu date until November. I was so excited to come back to Hawaii on my anniversary month, but evolving international travel restrictions forced us to consider everyone's safety and well-being. March 3rd, British singer Youngblood called off a tour slated to kick off in South Korea, as well as shows in Japan, Hong Kong, the Philippines, and Singapore. At first, I was going to say fuck it and come, but we have been advised again to seriously not. March 3rd, Ultra Music Festival flagship Miami Festival scheduled for March 20th through the 22nd is called off. According to the city officials, Slipknot postponed a planned Asia tour slated to kick off on March 20th with a 2-night Knot Fest, while fellow hard rockers Whitesnake, Sons of Apollo, and Michael Schnecker Fest all canceled dates. March 4th, as a result of Apple pulling out of this year's South by Southwest Festival, along with Twitter, Amazon, TikTok, Facebook, and other major companies, Spike Jonze' BC Boys Story documentary is not slated to premiere at the event. 9 Inch Nails has also dropped out of the film portion of the annual festival. 9 Inch Nails says, "We're sorry, we won't be giving our Watchmen keynote at South by Southwest this year because we had some surprises in store. However, it was the right decision." March 5th, Louis Tomlinson tweeted to fans that the president of the Council of Ministries had decreed that his March 11th show at the Fabric in Milan had been called off. March 5th, Queen and Adam Lambert notified fans that the group's planned May 26th show at the Accor Hotels Arena in Paris has been postponed, following a government decree in France to cancel all indoor events over 5,000 capacity in France until the 31st of May in an effort to contain the spread of coronavirus. The band said they are working with the promoter to reschedule the date and will announce a new one soon. March 5th, organizers of Tomorrowland Winter in France announced Thursday that they have canceled the 2020 winter edition of the Electronic Dance Music Festival. And Tomorrowland Winter 2020 was set to run March 14th through the 21st at the French Alpine Ski Resort in Alpe d'Huez. I do not know how to say that French word, but yeah. So don't be surprised if we hear Coachella will be canceled. And Teen Choice Award winners Sam and Colby have announced a 13-date paranormal-driven tour across the U.S. that includes stops in New York, Chicago, Nashville, and more, culminating with an appearance at the Fonda in Los Angeles on May 26th. That's still set to go. Hopefully it will continue. Now on to the top 10 songs played in the United States according to Apple Music. Roddy Ricch's The Box is back at number 1. Lil Baby and Gunna, Heatin' Up, temporarily held that spot, but I knew Roddy would be back. Number 2, Lil Uzi Vert, That Way. Number 3, Lil Baby, Commercial featuring Lil Uzi Vert. Number 4, Lil Baby and Gunna, Heatin' Up. Number 5, Lil Baby, Emotionally Scarred. Number 6, Lil Baby, Whoa. Number 7, Lil Baby, Something to Prove. Number 8, Live Off My Closet featuring everyone's favorite feature, Future. Again, that everyone's favorite feature, Future. And again, that's Lil Baby. Number 9, Bad Bunny, La Difficile. Number 10, Future and Drake, Life is Good. Now let's compare that to the top 10 songs played globally according to Apple Music. Number 1, Roddy Ricch, still globally and in the US. That's The Box. Number 2, Lil Uzi Vert, That Way. Number 3, Lil Baby, Commercial featuring Lil Uzi Vert. Number 4, Lil Baby and Gunna, Heatin' Up. Number 5, The Weeknd, Blinding Lights. And number 6, Future featuring Drake, Life is Good. Number 7, Bad Bunny, La Difficile. Number 8, Bad Bunny, Si Vio Ta Mama. Y'all know only the language I speak is English, so I can't pronounce nothing outside of English. I could barely pronounce English words. Number 9, Lil Baby, Emotionally Scarred. Number 10, Lil Baby, Whoa. Now, what have I been jamming? So I ran through Lil Baby's My Turn. There is a reason why it's all over the top 10 in the US and globally. It jams. I don't have a full list of standouts, but Live Off My Closet, that title trips me up. Because it don't make sense. I want to say like Live Off My Chest or Live From My Closet, but Live Off My Closet does not flow naturally. But the song slaps. Forever with Lil Wayne and Catch the Sun, I really enjoyed. To keep it real, Kid is talented, but not really my cup of tea. I may listen one more time. I had never heard of G Herbo until I reported that his PTSD album dropped. Because he had so many mainstream artists featured on his album, I listened. I have the same sentiments with him as I do Lil Baby. Cool albums, but nothing I need to put on repeat, personally. But I see why others would. Now, Princess Nokia is my flavor of tea. This week was the first time I heard of her and her Green Eggs and Ham song. I downloaded both her 2020 projects, Everything Sucks and Everything is Beautiful. I didn't realize that they were companion pieces when I downloaded them. I reported on most of Everything Sucks in the last episode I did. It's dark, but the production is fire. My standouts are Harley Quinn, I Like Him, and Balenciaga. I learned about her extremely dark and painful childhood in Just a Kid. She talks about her mom passing, her dad being on drugs, and her grandma raised her until she was 8, until her grandma passed away. Then she was adopted or had a foster mother. That was kind of confusing. I wasn't quite clear on that. She literally says I was adopted, but then she said that the woman had ill intentions and was doing it for money. With adoption, you gotta pay for a kid. Fostering, you make money. So that's what makes more sense to me. But anyways, that's a little foggy on whether she was adopted or fostered. But either ways, some mean-ass lady took care of her and abused her. So she raps about being a sad kid. So yeah, I get why she titled the project Everything Sucks when I heard that final track. But then it's a drastic flip with the project Everything is Beautiful. The production is sunny and uplifting. You can't really label her style because she experiments with almost every project. No project sounds the same. And when it comes to her songs, she is constantly switching up her flow. And she is dope at it at all styles. But I really was digging Everything Sucks the most. So we will take a break and return with music history with Celine Dion. Celine Dion.
Searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Now let's get into music history with Celine Dion, according to allmusic.com. And I ain't even gonna lie, this is probably the longest history that I've ever read, but it's Celine Dion, so it makes sense. So here we go, folks. From her humble roots as a French language teenage pop singer to international superstardom, Canadian singer Celine Dion became a multi-platinum Grammy-winning crossover success in the 90s after breaking into the English language market with heartfelt ballads that shined a spotlight on her powerful and inimitable voice. In addition to winning first prize at the 1988 Eurovision Song Contest, Dion also scored multiple Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year for 1996, Falling Into You. Her award-winning contributions to film soundtracks helped expand her presence into the pop culture mainstream, most notably with songs like Beauty and the Beast from 1991 Disney animated film and the blockbuster My Heart Will Go On from the 1997 box office smash Titanic. Decades into her career, her status as a beloved pop icon was further cemented with a record-breaking Las Vegas residency at Caesars Palace, making her one of the highest-grossing artists of all time. Born on March 30th, 1968, in Charlemagne, Quebec, Celine Marie Claudette Dion was one of 14 children, in a large family that fostered a love of music. She started singing at a young age, performing at the family's piano bar. Okay, damn, get it, family. And at her older brother's wedding, pursuing her dream of becoming a singer. She wrote her song, Senecte, again, y'all know, English I'll say it in English. It Was Only a Dream in 1980 with her mother and brother. Released in June 1981, the single peaked in the top 20 of Quebec singles chart and landed her the debut full-length La Voix de Bonne Douleur. Y'all are just gonna have to get used to me tripping up stuff during this one. Which was released in November of the same year under the guidance of the producer and manager Renee and Gaelika. Dion went on to win Top Performer at the Best Song at the 1982 Yamaha World Popular Song Festival in Tokyo and multiple Felix Awards in her native Quebec for her third effort, Tellement J'ai d'Amour, which won Best Pop Album, Newcomer of the Year, and Female Vocalist of the Year. The album was certified platinum in Canada while leaping to France, where it also became a hit. A steady stream of release followed into the late 80s, including 4 studio albums, a handful of compilations, and a pair of Christmas collections, which helped make her inroads into international markets like Belgium and Switzerland. In 1987, Dion received a full pop makeover on her 8th LP, Incognito. The double platinum set spawned 5 hit singles and was promoted with a Canadian tour that included a multi-month residency at the St. Denis Theatre in Montreal. In the midst of Incognito's whirlwind success, Dion won the 1988 Eurovision Song Contest, representing Switzerland with Ni parts, whatever, again. Poised for greater international exposure, Dion finally made her move beyond her French language Canadian release, taking aim at the U.S. pop mainstream at the turn of a decade. Great, hopefully I can pronounce the rest of this stuff from here on. Released on Columbia Records in April 1990, Unison was Dion's first English language album, following a concentrated effort to improve her language skills and vocal training. The leap paid off, and Unison was a massive success, selling more than 1 million copies in the U.S. and millions worldwide. In addition to singles Have a Heart and Unison, the album also included Billboard hits like The Last to Know, If There Was, Any Other Way, and Where Does My Heart Beat Now, which peaked at number 4 on the Hot 100 and number 2 on the Adult Contemporary chart. Unison's performance helped Dion attract the attention of Disney, and she was recruited for 1991's Beauty and the Beast, a duet with Peabo Bryson from the animated film of the same name. The ballad was top 10 hit, winning Dion a Grammy for Best Pop Performance by a duo or a group with vocals. Her second English language album arrived in 1992, riding the success of Beauty and the Beast, included as the set's first single. Celine Dion made confident steps away from the youthful pop of her previous release, presenting a mastered rebranding for the singer on yearning ballads and confident R&B inspired dance numbers. The self-titled effort entered the top 40 of the Billboard 200, eventually outselling Unison. It included hit singles If You Ask Me To, Nothing Broken But My Heart, and Love Can Move Mountains. Meanwhile, away from the public eye, Dion and Gaelika began a romantic relationship, which was subtly unveiled in 1993 in the liner notes of her next album. The couple would wed at the end of 1994. Issued in November, The Color of My Love topped charts across Europe and Canada, entering the top 10 in the US and even Japan. It was her highest selling effort to date, with over 20 million copies sold. The Juno and Grammy-winning album yielded romantic hits like Clive Griffin duet When I Fall in Love from the Sleepless in Seattle soundtrack, the UK chart topper Think Twice, and the international smash The Power of Love, a cover of a Jennifer Rush song that went on to win the Grammy for Best Instrumental Arrangement accompanying vocals. As Love became Dion's biggest album to date, she shifted back to her French audience with another blockbuster. Following the release of live album, here we go again, A la Olympia, recorded in Paris in September 1994, Dion issued Deux, released as the French album in the US in 1995. The set included chart-topping singles like some French stuff I cannot pronounce, which both shot to number one in France and Belgium. The album itself stayed atop the French chart for a whopping 44 weeks, becoming the best-selling French album of all time. Her months of French chart dominance came to an end in 1996 when she was toppled from the top spot by her own album, Falling Into You. Returning to English language output, Dion hit another career high point with Falling Into You. Surpassing the success of her previous two efforts, the LP found Dion at a peak in popularity, extending her chart dominance around the world with platinum singles like It's All Coming Back to Me Now and the Grammy-winning Because You Love Me from the Up Close and Personal soundtrack. Frequent collaborators Dionne Warren and David Foster returned to work on the project, which won Grammy Awards for Album of the Year and Best Pop Album, while becoming one of the best-selling albums of all time. In support of the effort, Dion embarked on a world tour that lasted over a year, hitting spots in Asia and Australia. Mere months after the tour's final date in Switzerland, Dion returned to the top of the charts with a follow-up. Let's Talk About Love arrived in late 1997. Guests like Barbra Streisand, the Bee Gees, Luciano Pavarotti, Bryan Adams, Diana King, a whole lot of people were enlisted for vocal duets and songwriting. In addition to hit duets Tell Him and Immortally, Let's Talk About Love featured what would become Dion's signature song, My Heart Will Go On, which was the blockbuster film, the theme from the blockbuster film, The Titanic. With its unmistakable flute melody and cinematic scope, the single matched the film's cultural dominance, becoming a ubiquitous radio staple and topping charts in Canada, Europe, Australia, and the US after winning an Academy Award in 1997 for Best Original Song. My Heart Will Go On scored a Golden Globe in 1998 before sweeping the 1999 Grammys with wins. How did she win from 97 to 98? If she wrote the song in 97, then it should have won a Grammy in either 97, at least the latest 98. But 1999, that don't make no sense. But anyways, before sweeping the 1999 Grammys with wins for Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best Female Pop Vocal, and Best Song for a Motion Picture or Television. While touring in support of Let's Talk About Love, Dion issued the holiday albums These Are Special Times, a greatest hits compilation All the Way, A Decade of Song, and another French release that I cannot pronounce. She capped off the decade by receiving the titles of Officer of the Order of Canada for outstanding contribution to the world of contemporary music and Officer of the National Order of Quebec. After her unbroken run of 90s chart success and international touring, Dion took a well-deserved break to focus on her family, prompted in part by a cancer diagnosis for Gaelika and the 2001 birth of her first child. Dion returned to music in 2002 with a refreshed pop sound on A New Day Has Come. Another multi-platinum chart topper, the album was inspired by the birth of her son and the September 11th attacks, which pushed Dion to focus on love, hope, and fresh beginnings. While not as globe-conquering as her late 90s releases, A New Day managed to yield uplifting hits like A New Day Has Come and I'm Alive, a pair of sweeping tracks that highlighted her new millennium pop confidence. Dion quickly followed with 2003's One Heart, home to the urgent dance pop single I Drove All Night. One Heart's stylistic shift was met with criticism, becoming her lowest selling English language effort in over a decade. Yet even with this seemingly commercial disappointment, the album was still certified platinum and sold over 5 million copies worldwide. Why? Because she's Celine Dion. 2004 also saw the release of A New Day live in Las Vegas, a concert recording of her multi-million-dollar 5-year residency at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Occupied by these live shows, which had Dion booked for nightly performances 5 days a week, she released a comprehensive greatest hits collection, On Ne Change Pas. I'm sorry, y'all. I even took French in high school. That's pretty sad, huh? Which compiled her French language hits from 1981 to 2005. In 2007, after the release of another French album, DLS, an ambitious concept featuring songs written by French female authors, Dion returned with a course-correcting follow-up to One Heart. Taking Chances arrived at the end of 2007. A comeback of sorts, the LP included the said soul hit, Taking Chances, what else? Alone. And yeah, okay. That's what it featured. Despite being one of her lowest selling English efforts, Taking Chances was supported with a record-breaking international tour that made stops in South Africa, China, Malaysia, and Australia, becoming one of the highest grossing treks of all time. Why? Because she is Celine Dion. Another best compilation, My Love Essential Collection, which collected hits released after 1999's All the Way, kept Dion on the charts following the conclusion of her world tour, which was commemorated on 2010's Taking Chances World Tour, The Concert, recorded in Boston and Montreal. She also signed on for a second multi-year concert residency at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace, which had a planned run that extended into 2019. Meanwhile, she issued another French album, Sans Attendre, in late 2012, topping charts in worldwide French markets. And the 11th English album, Loved Me Back to Life, followed in 2013. In addition to the Sia Penn title track, Loved Me also included duets with Neo, Incredible, and Stevie Wonder, Overjoyed. In 2014, Dion's Vegas residency and Asia tour were abruptly halted after Angeli's health began to further deteriorate. Although her performances resumed a year later in the summer of 2015, they were once again halted in early 2016 with the tragic deaths of both Angeli and her brother, Daniel Dion, which came within 2 days of each other. Ugh, man, that's hard. That is hard. That's terrible. I remember that too. That's terrible. Devastated Dion took time away from the spotlight for a month. Damn, really? A month? Ugh. It's hard being Celine Dion. She definitely needed more time than that. Returning to the stage in February. That summer, she released Encore on Soar, an introspective set of uplifting pop that peaked at number 1 in Canada, France, Belgium, and Switzerland, notably becoming Dion's first French language effort to chart on the Billboard charts. Encore was home to singles like the title track Les Étoiles. I don't know. She returned to the world of film soundtracks in 2017, reuniting with a property that helped break her into the American pop culture landscape over 25 years earlier. She contributed How Does a Moment Last Forever to Disney's live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast, which makes total sense. She was on the first one, do the second one. The song topped the Quebec charts and even entered the top 10 across Asia. In 2018, she contributed to another, though slightly more unorthodox soundtrack, Deadpool 2. I don't recall that, okay? Ashes landed that May, accompanied by a music video starring Dion and the superhero that quickly went viral. I don't know if I remember that. The following year, Dion released the club-friendly anthem Flying on My Own as the first track from her 12th English language album, Courage. A triumph of spirit, the set showcased a revitalized Dion who was aided by pop and electric guests such as Sia, David Guetta, Sam Smith, and Skylar Grey. The album topped the Canadian and U.S. charts. Whew, all right, I told y'all that was going to be a long bio, but it's Celine Dion. I mean, when I think of Celine Dion, I think of one of my homies. I think of Shauna. We were in French together in high school. And whenever we had to do a French project on a person, she would always do Celine Dion. And she loves her Celine Dion. So and of course, I know like her movie scores are, the themes for movie soundtracks. But other than that, besides her being a diva, I remember her being on the Divas like every year. Besides that, I really don't have much else to say about Celine Dion other than she's a legend. So I definitely appreciate your time. Thank you for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Music Podcast Network. If you like what you heard, subscribe to our podcast. And until next time, I'm Gaelika Brown, the music lover constantly seeking positive music.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.